Ela mora no meu peito e eu moro vizinho a ela. E eu fico desse jeito, pensando nos beijos, nos carinhos dela. Ela mora no meu peito e eu moro vizinho a ela. E eu fico desse jeito, pensando nos beijos, nos carinhos dela. Ela mora no meu peito e eu moro vizinho a ela. Fico desse jeito, pensando nos beijos, nos carinhos dela.
Welcome back, SFL Nation. Welcome back to SFL Night. AJ Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decided to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. I really appreciate it, y'all. And I have here with me Mr. Todd Anderson, tight end, for the Atlanta Swarm as my co-host tonight. How are you doing?
I'm great, Ashley. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Always great to see you again. You know, you were one of them. I kind of followed you from the time you were just getting into the league and then you finally got drafted. So congratulations. How's things going in Atlanta?
Atlanta's been fun. Good people. We didn't have the season that I think any of us wanted necessarily, but again, a good organization, good people all around.
All right. Can't say enough good things about Atlanta. All right. So we're going to be talking about the SFLm action that occurred on Friday. And for those who don't know, we have the minor leagues that started 2 seasons ago. So this is third season and it's still a wonderful way for the rookies to kind of showcase their talents before they make it to the majors. And then I have the playoff outcomes from our majors, and there was some exciting games, followed by a 4th and Goal interview with Mr. Polly Truth of the Albuquerque Adams, Aaron Alexander from the Lexington Miners, and Axel Raven from the Tacoma Grizzlies. So going to be full of rookies, new and excited, and trying to express how much they love the league so far, just from the very first games that took place, whether they won or lost. They were very excited. So, all right, Todd, there were some fantastic games that happened, huh? A lot of good stuff.
Yes, there were. Both in the minors and the playoff games, of course, were all great.
Wonderful. So what we're going to do is go over the SFLm minors right now. The Birmingham Fuel took on the Lexington Miners, and the Miners won 25-0. The Miners had 176 yards passing, 165 yards rushing, 341 yards total. Their time of possession was 29 minutes and 2 seconds with no mistakes. The Fuel, however, had 30 yards passing, 23 yards rushing, 53 yards total. Their time of possession was only 14 minutes and 31 seconds with 3 turnovers. So, what do you think happened with this game? I mean, besides the Miners defense only holding these guys to 53 yards of total offense.
Well, the big thing, I think this is a good example of how in the minors every season most of the roster turns over. You had a few more second-year players on Lexington's team. Even though they're a new team, they were able to acquire some players that really made a big difference in this game. But defensively, Lexington just put a big stop on Birmingham's star running back, Squarebush, holding him to 23 yards for the entire game, and that was huge. And not only that, the outcome really wasn't as surprising as it might have been otherwise.
Gotcha. And the player of the game was Bailey O'Shaughnessy. 31 attempts, 135 yards, 1 touchdown, 90 reception yards. The Salt Lake City Rustlers took on the Madison Lynx, and Madison won the game 30-27. The Rustlers had 225 yards passing, only 8 yards rushing, 233 yards total. Their time of possession was 13 minutes and 39 seconds with 3 mistakes. Madison had 325 yards passing, 128 yards rushing, with 453 yards total. Their time of possession was 29 minutes, 53 seconds with 1 turnover. So looks like the time of possession was a lot better than the Rustlers. They were able to put up way more rushing yards versus the Rustlers, at least Madison was. And I think that was probably the key to them winning this game. What do you say?
Well, I agree with that. And again, this another example where a star running back was held to a really pretty mediocre day. Salt Lake City's running back Brooke Basel was held to 8 yards on 9 carries, and that put all of the weight on Tommy Utah to carry the game offensively. He didn't look terrible, but he did have 3 picks, and again, that was a lot for them to have to overcome.
Gotcha. Now, you guys, please forgive me, because the player of the game, his name is Usis Denobola.
Essex Denobola.
Essex Denobola. Did I say that right?
Denobola.
Denobola. Okay. Mr. Denobola had 13 receptions, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 11.6 yards per catch. Please, guys, forgive me. Sometimes these names, I don't have my glasses on, so they kind of run together. But the Albuquerque Adams took on the San Jose Flight, and the Adams won 17-10. The Adams had 191 yards passing, 98 yards rushing, 289 yards total. They held the ball for 22 minutes and 30 seconds with 3 mistakes. The Flight had 253 yards passing, 89 yards rushing, 332 yards total. They held the ball for 20 minutes and 21 seconds with 1 mistake. So what do you say? What do you think about this game? Because they were pretty close. It looks like the Flight actually had more passing yards than Albuquerque, but perhaps they were a little bit smarter with the ball on the Adams side.
Well, the Albuquerque quarterback had a good day, but he did turn the ball over 3 times, and that kind of kept the game a little closer than it might have been otherwise. But both teams actually played a really good game. Where Albuquerque, I think, got the upper hand is that they were able to sustain drives and get into scoring position a little bit better than San Jose was able to. And of course, they had a big bomb to Nate Ritter's for a touchdown, which I think kind of broke the game open. Even though the score doesn't reflect the game getting out of hand, it certainly put Albuquerque in a good position to win the game.
And that is something to think about. With 3 mistakes that Albuquerque made, and with San Jose making only 1 mistake, it would seem that even though you do throw those interceptions at times or you have those turnovers, it does not mean that you're going to lose.
That's right.
Player of the game was wide receiver Nate Ritter's, as you spoke of earlier, with 4 receptions for 88 yards, 1 touchdown, and he went 22.8 yards per catch. The Memphis River Runners, had to always slow that down, took on the Tacoma Grizzlies, and the River Runners won the game 41-3, putting up big numbers. The River Runners had 357 yards passing, 203 yards rushing, with 560 yards total. That's like major leagues time right there.
That's huge.
Yeah. Their time of possession was 25 minutes and 33 seconds with only 1 mistake. The Grizzlies had 187 yards passing, 104 yards rushing, 291 yards total. Their time of possession was 18 minutes and 27 seconds with 3 turnovers. So it looks like the Grizzlies having those 3 turnovers and not holding the ball as long as Memphis did definitely had an effect on the game, would you say?
Yeah, again, I would agree with that. Tacoma, they returned an experienced star running back in Brad Jones, and he actually had a great day. He 22 carries for 104 yards, and that's 4.7 yards a carry. But Memphis returned both a star running back and GP Wells, who had a huge day, 27 carries for 161 yards and a touchdown, and their quarterback, OJ Bruin, who just put on a clinic. He was 25 of 31, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 357 yards. And there was just, again, Memphis racked up 560 yards of total offense. And in the M's, that's huge. And Tacoma, even with their experienced quarterback and running back, they just couldn't keep up.
You're absolutely right. And OJ Bruin made so much of an impact that he was the player of the game with exactly what you said. 25 completions, 31 attempts, 357 yards, 3 touchdowns, and his quarterback rating is a 133.5. That's absolutely awesome.
That's
Great
amazing.
games to watch. They occur every Friday. I'll definitely have that graphic up there and the links to the games in the description so you can kind of catch those and go from couch to field today. Now, with the playoffs that ensued, these were the wild card games, and these were absolutely exciting as well. The Las Vegas Fury took on the St. Louis Gladiators, and the Fury won the game 33-21. The Las Vegas Fury had 292 yards passing, 153 yards rushing, 445 yards total. Their time of possession was 23 minutes and 2 seconds with no mistakes. St. Louis had 314 yards passing, 124 yards rushing, 438 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes and 27 seconds with 2 turnovers. So St. Louis put up a heck of a fight, Todd. What do you think kept them out of the winner's circle this time?
Well, both teams played great. It was just St. Louis's misfortune to play the Fury on an explosive day, both for Colin Pierce, their quarterback, and for Scott Johnson, their running back. Both of these guys played lights out. And again, similar to the last game we talked about, St. Louis just couldn't keep up. Las Vegas didn't make any mistakes to speak of. And, the few mistakes that St. Louis made, they just weren't able to overcome those.
Player of the game was quarterback Colin Pierce. 19 completions out of 24 attempts, 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 156.9. All right,
perfect.
rookie. That is absolutely amazing. Shoo-in for Rookie of the Year, probably.
That didn't hurt his case. That didn't hurt his case at all.
No, not at all. But then there's a lot of good rookies out here, like
That's true.
Christian Brown from St. Louis, like
That's right.
Charlie Bolitsky from Florida. So it's going to be very hard this year. The Jacksonville Kings took on the Lone Star Glory, and the Lone Star Glory won the game 32-27. The Kings had 309 yards passing, 28 yards rushing, 337 yards total. Their time of possession, 23 minutes and 59 seconds with 6 turnovers. The Glory had 187 yards passing, 105 yards rushing, 292 yards total. Their time of possession was 19 minutes and 35 seconds with 3 mistakes. So both teams made some mistakes. Lone Star made 3 turnovers. Jacksonville had 6 turnovers. It looks like it was Jacksonville's rushing game that actually got stifled, and probably why they did not, beat the Glory.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And when you look at the score, you don't think of this as a defensive game, but particularly Lone Star's defense just really were kicking it throughout the entire game. Like you said, that they stopped Jared Willis, held him to just 22 yards and a touchdown. And then even though Christensen, their quarterback, had a pretty good completion percentage and threw for a lot of yards, he did throw 6 picks, to include a pick 6 by Brian Craven. So again, you can win when you make turnovers, but more often than not, when you have a lot of turnovers, you're not going to be able to pull it off. And this is a good example of that.
Wonderful. Player of the game was Miss Ike McBride, halfback for the Glory, with 13 attempts, 95 yards, 1 touchdown, and 14 reception yards. Now, I will say, Miss McBride has been in this winner's circle pretty much for the entire season, if I remember correctly. So she has definitely made an impact on this league, and she deserves every accolade that she gets. She works very hard to get those points.
That's right. Yeah, she's been player of the game more than once this season.
Yes, I'm thinking like at least about 5 or 6 times, and that's probably on the lower side of it. But the Los Angeles Lakers took on the Fort Worth Toros, and the Toros won 31-13. LA had 218 yards passing, 47 yards rushing, 265 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes, 38 seconds with 1 mistake. All right, and the Toros had 162 yards passing, 295 yards rushing, 457 yards total. Their time of possession was 23 minutes, 13 seconds with no mistakes. So it looks like with the rushing game definitely helped put the Toros on top, not to mention having a perfect game and holding the ball longer. Right.
Again, Fort Worth has just had an incredible season. Their defense really stepped up in this game, holding Robert Johnson of LA to 47 yards and a pretty pedestrian 2.8 yards per carry. And even though they didn't create a huge number of turnovers, in fact, Sully Richardson, the quarterback at LA, had a really good game. They just weren't able to capitalize. And whereas on the other hand, Fort Worth, everything that they seemed to try worked really well. Running back Jason Thrillium Williams had an amazing game. Quarterback Cameron Curtis, he did everything they asked him to do. He was 15 of 20 for 162 yards and a touchdown, but they really didn't have to rely on his arm much. And that's the story of this game.
Yes, and Jason Williams, the running back for the Toros, definitely deserved the player of the game with 23 attempts, 261 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 reception yards. Finally.
Yeah, you've been saving this one.
I've been saving this one. Okay. The Arizona Scorpions took on the Mexico City Aztecs, and Arizona won the game 24-21. Oh, my heart was in my chest and actually in my throat the whole time. I was just so nervous. But Mexico City had 292 yards passing, 101 yards rushing, 393 yards total. Their time possession was 22 minutes, 29 seconds with 4 mistakes. Arizona had 308 yards passing, 150 yards rushing, 458 yards total. Time possession for us was 21 minutes and 3 seconds with only 1 mistake. Time. I only threw 1 pick. I was, DJ was able to kind of get through and he was able to make a heck of a difference in his rushing game for 150 yards, put up a few more points in the passing area. But I think the mistakes were limited. And that's what everybody was saying in the chat for us. Arizona, I like to pass the ball to everybody. Everybody knows that. But
regardless of what uniform they're wearing, right?
Souvenir. You get one, just like Oprah was handing out the keys to the car. You get a car. But
that's right.
But it was amazing to see my team just perform at the high level that I know that we can. And I believe that cutting down all the mistakes was the reason that we won this game. What do you think?
Well, again, it's been the storyline throughout this season. After we moved to legend settings, it seems like that the mistakes for a lot of teams seem to go up. But no, you're absolutely right. And I think that it was, genius of Eddie to change up the game plan to a degree, even though you did pass for over 300 yards. To really emphasize DJ Moses on the ground. I just think was huge in this game. you were playing a great team in Mexico City, and great players, Matt Wilson, Phoenix Jones, and so on, and they had pretty good games. Matt Wilson's 4 interceptions, 3 to Eddie Gage, which was just amazing in such a pressure cooker game. Eddie stepped up huge, but on defense. But I think that it was a tough game. You were throwing dimes. Matt Wilson was looking good. Phoenix Jones was looking good. But at the end of the day, you guys made fewer mistakes. And again, I'll bring it full circle back to that. You made big plays when you had to, and fewer mistakes. And again, that was, I think that was the thing that contributed most to your victory.
So much so, the player of the game was DJ Moses, our running back. 25 attempts, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 25 reception yards. And I told Mexico City, Ramos, and company, after we won the game, during the game, like right afterwards, and even in the chat, like that for us was kind of like a championship game, in a sense, because Ramos Lynn has been around for a long time. Mexico City is one of the cornerstone teams that the league has. And to be able to hold on and win over them was, as well as they played and as legendary as they are, it definitely made us very happy. But we understand too that it's not over. We have another great team to play for the quarterfinals round. So, we're gonna, definitely try our best to overcome the obstacles and try to put up the same amount of points or do better. But yeah, thank you, Mexico City. That was a great game for us, and great game period to watch. But the quarterfinals are just around the corner, and they will be taking place on Saturday and Sunday. Normally, what I like to do is I like to see who's going to win. I kind of do my pick'ems. I don't think I'm going to do that this week. I don't think I'm going to do that for the rest of the way, because, it was brought to my attention that sometimes when you pick, it could be, kind of like a bad luck thing. So I'm just going to just chill this time. But Todd, if you want to pick, you can definitely do that.
No, I'm not going to be put on the spot. I'm just looking forward to some great games, and certainly wish everybody the best of luck. And but as you said, Arizona's first playoff win for a young organization, that's huge, and I was really excited to see that for you.
Thank you so much. April the 24th at 4:30 p.m. the Lone Star Glory will be taking on the Baltimore Vultures. And that will be shown on NLS. Now, I actually have the links in the descriptions for you, so you can just quickly go to that. That is going to be an awesome game to watch. Baltimore, former champions, going against the Lone Star Glory with Ike McBride and Dave Axis and Brian Craven over there. That's going to be a very exciting game to watch. And then you have TJ, you have T-Roy Games over there in Baltimore, Jack Wigmore. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be an offensive game. I think they're going to be scoring a lot of points in this one. What do you think, Todd?
Yeah, I think both teams have the potential to put up a lot of points, but I think it'll be a tight game unless the wheels just come off one or the other team. I think it's going to be a close game, but with a lot of points. So it'll be a really exciting game to watch.
Absolutely. And you can also, hey, if you want to play along, just go ahead and put who you think is going to win in the comment section. Let me know what you think. All right. So at 6:40 p.m. on April the 24th, the Fort Worth Toros will be taking on the Vancouver Legion at Vancouver. The Lone Star Glory game will be taking place in Baltimore, by the way. I didn't mention that. And also going to be found on NLS channel. This is going to be a fantastic game too. Fort Worth has been putting up some major numbers. They have some heavy hitters over there with Stephen Hacker, with Jason Williams, Then you also have Vancouver. Vancouver has been dominant pretty much all season. And this, Kendra over there, Kendra Hall. You have who else? Todd, help me out over here, because I'm just so excited about all of this. It's like I got all these names floating around in my head.
I'm drawing blanks too.
But
That's
either
terrible.
way, I know, right? I know everybody. It's just like right now, Kendra Hall just popped out. Good. But yeah, it's gonna be an amazing game to watch. I think this is also gonna be one of those high scoring games too. What do you think about this?
No, I think it has the potential to be a really big score. Vancouver has had the number one offense in the league for most of the season. And I think they may have ended the season as the number one ranked offense. But Fort Worth, if they're able to keep the ball away from Vancouver's offense, using their powerful running game and ball control offense, they have the potential to do really well in this game.
Yeah, Vancouver's defense have been pretty good too.
That's right.
So it's going to be some great games to watch. On April the 25th, the Las Vegas Fury will be taking on the Florida Storm in Florida at 12:30 p.m. on For the Fans. Again, it's going to be another great game. You have the cornerstone team, Florida Storm, taking on the very powerful Las Vegas Fury with the rookie quarterback, Colin Pierce. Oh, they got so many weapons over there too, with Matthew Flynn. Blades, Robert Blades.
Yeah.
Oh, my stars. Then you got Charlie Valesky, like I was speaking to you, that's probably going to be considered one of the rookies of the year.
That's right.
Of course, the veteran quarterback, Ron Cochran over there. Man, these are going to be some interesting games. I'm not sure if this is going to be necessarily a high scoring game. I'm not sure if it's even going to be close, actually, but it might. You never know. And I would say one of the teams is probably going to win by maybe anywhere from between 7 and 10 points.
Yeah, I can easily see that. One of the things coming into the playoffs was whether or not Las Vegas was going to be intimidated because of their youth. My man, Colin Pierce at quarterback, I played with him at San Jose. He's a great guy and proving to be a great quarterback in the SFL. But they showed in their game against St. Louis that, the games aren't too big for them. And even though they're going up against a legendary team in Florida, I don't think they're going to be intimidated by that. So, again, if the wheels come off one or the other, then there could be a potential for a blowout. But I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think both offenses are capable of putting up a lot of points, and it might be a 7-point difference. It could even be closer, but I think it's going to be an exciting game.
For sure. And to end things off, 2:40 p.m. on For the Fans, Arizona will be taking on the Denver Nightwings.
You can do it. You can do it.
I mean, this, all of these games are definitely going to be must watch. I mean, you got, of course, my guys on the defense have been amazing. If we can stop Jared McChesney and stifle the offense of Denver, we definitely have the tools to be able to do that. It's the people to be able to do that. But Denver has to also watch out for Arizona. If I have a mistake-free game, and if I can get, incorporate more of my receivers, so you don't know who I'm actually throwing to. Like TJ was instrumental in helping us win this.
He was big.
Yes, because normally I'm always throwing to Donnie and Jane. But if we can just kind of maybe get McCall involved, or we can get more TJ involved, just kind of confused. I have 4 receivers for a reason. So, and even throwing a few balls to DJ Moses if necessary. We're going to have to be on our P's and Q's for this one, definitely, because Denver is no slouch. I believe they're number 1, aren't they, Todd?
As far as their standing?
And for as they're standing, I think that they are number one.
One or two.
Thanks, Cam.
Again.
Exactly.
Well, like you said, stopping McChesney for you guys is going to be the tail of the tape. If you're able to do that, then it puts pressure on other aspects of their offense. But again, your offense is pretty potent, and they're not going to have an easy time of it either. So I think it's going to be a great game, and we'll just have to see how it turns out. Exactly.
All right, and so now with the SFLm schedule, on April the 23rd, all games will occur on April the 23rd and be shown on our Simulation FL YouTube channel. Of course, I'll leave that link in the description. Also, if you want to see scheduling, if you want to read articles, if you want to know more about us, and if you even want to join our Discord, all you have to do is go to www.simulationfl.net, join the Discord, read our articles, understand why we love this community so much and why we see it as a family oriented environment and camaraderie and friendships that can occur from here. One of the safest places, I think. All right, so on April the 23rd, the Lexington Miners will be taking on the Albuquerque Adams. Unfortunately, I don't have times available right now, but they all start like around 6 o'clock, and I'll make sure I put that in the descriptions too. So who do you have, Ty, between the Albuquerque Adams and the Lexington Miners? Both of them coming off fresh wins too.
Well, as you said, both of them won their first game in the league. Albuquerque had a little bit harder time with their game against the Flight than Lexington had in their game. Lexington was really dominant in their first win, and that, I think, is just going to cause me to have to lean in their favor for this second game. One previous game is not a lot of tape, obviously, but they looked amazing in their first game.
I totally agree. If the Albuquerque Adams will, if they can get Nate Ritters more involved, I think they will take this game. However, I think I'm going to go with the Lexington Miners this time. I normally go with the Adams, but with that performance from the Miners and holding them to 0 points, yeah, I think they're probably going to do something like that, and probably not 0, but it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, they were tough on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, they sure were. The Tacoma Grizzlies will be taking on the Birmingham Fuel, and that should be an awesome game as well. Both of them coming off losses. So what do you think about this game?
Well, in each of their first games, neither team demonstrated much offense. Certainly, they didn't demonstrate much ability to score points. So that's going to be, it's by definition, it's going to have to be a coming out party for one of the two teams. I'm going to give the edge slightly to Birmingham. First off, they're at home, and we'll just have to wait and see. But again, the first tape on both of these teams wasn't too impressive. So hopefully they can both get their act together a little bit better for the second game and provide a better demonstration of what they're all about.
Got it. And I think I will agree with you. I think that the Birmingham Field will take this win. They will be at home. Again, probably not by too much, but I think that they're going to wind up taking this game as well.
I think it'll be a close game.
Very close. Probably between 3 and 7 points, man, in my opinion.
No.
The San Jose Flight is taking on the Memphis River Runner. I believe San Jose put up a good fight. Memphis River Runners did come out with the win. So who do you have?
Well, I want to pick my guys, the Flight. They had a really good game in their first game, even though they came up short. But Memphis, again, just absolutely dominated Tacoma in their first game. And since it's at Memphis and with the showing that they had in their first game, as much as I'd love to pick the Flight, I might have to go with the River Runners. I
agree with you, River Runners. I think that the River Runners is going to win this game as well. And lastly, the Ottawa Cavalry will be taking on the Salt Lake Any rusters? Who do you have?
Well, clearly, I think Ottawa had a bye in the first week, so we've got no tape on them yet this season. And with Salt Lake being at home and having coming off of a tough loss to Madison, but they still put a good showing out in their first game. I'm going to go ahead and go with the home team on this one as well.
Okay. Even though we don't, sometimes when you don't have tape on the team, you don't know what to expect. And I think because of that air of mystery, I think I'm going to go with the Ottawa Cowboys. Right. Because how can you prepare for something? It's just a big guessing game, just like this week was for everybody, you know? But yeah, I think the Ottawa Cavalry is going to take this, right? All right, so guys, without further ado, I have my 4th and Goal interviews coming right up. All right, welcome back, SFL Nation, and welcome back to my 4th and Goal interview with one of our most elite rookies, at least, for the first game. We're going to start that out. And he is playing with the Tacoma Grizzlies. His name is Mr. Axel Raven. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here on your show.
And I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to have you, man. I know that there have been some fantastic games that happened on Friday, one of which is yours. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But first, I want to get to know about you. So, what is your name, your real name, your age, hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team?
All right. So my name, Justin Lee. I live in the Minneapolis area, a little northwestern suburb. What was their hometown was one of them. I grew up on the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota, on the Wisconsin side. So I even though I literally, a mile from Minnesota, I'm still a proud Wisconsin person. Even though I've been living in Minnesota for 2 decades, that's still my born and bred spot. Favorite football team being from Wisconsin are the Packers. I hear I'm in good alum here, a good company with different other people. Not you, not you.
So somebody must have warned you before you came on the show? I'm a Bears fan?
No, I didn't know that. No. I talked with Mike All and he had mentioned he is a Packer fan and that Cam is also a fan. So I thought, why isn't everybody a fan, right? No, I'm just kidding.
See, we're gonna, you know what? Well, the next time you come on the show, we're gonna have a discussion about that. I'm gonna be nice now.
I do have to say though, growing up right next to Minnesota and being in Minnesota, so the Packers are my favorite team, and then my second favorite team is any other NFC North team. I'd want to see the rest of us succeed. I just want to see the Packers on top. That's so.
That's kind of a saving grace for you a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit.
I remembered you had asked about age. I am 40 right now. Okay. A Cancer birthday, so in July I'll be 41.
Oh, nice. I'm a Cancer too.
Nice.
That's awesome. So I guess we can get along. It's just that you make questionable choices. Going out. You make questionable choices in your football team, which will. But tell us, Justin, how did you find this anyway?
So this was back in early February, so a couple months ago. Was flipping through the channels and came across FTF and saw it said Simulation Football League in the guide. I'm like, what the heck is that? So I clicked on it and watched the rest of the game. At that point, it was, I believe, Mexico City versus DC Dragons, I think week 3. And which was a great game. And I'm like, wait, Mexico City has a team? Not expecting that, coming from NFL, it's only, the US pretty much. So it felt really fun. It was really engaging to me and things. So it was sort of scratched that itch a little bit.
Okay, gotcha. So tell me, how was it when you first joined? What was your experience? Was it kind of easy to join and actually get on the team? Can you just kind of let everybody know how that process goes?
So the show directed me to the site, simulationfl.net. So I went there, and it talked about going to the Discord channel. I had recently, 2 months before, had gotten onto Discord for my a few friends of mine who are in California and Boston. We were doing some remote D&D playing using Discord, and so I'd already had things set up. So I just went to the server, started looking through those top threads of getting started and followed those directions. Signed up for, not sure exactly what I was getting into, so I signed up for the month-to-month, pro level. $375 a month, can't beat that. I'm a thrifty person. There's no discount for buying in bulk, so I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with the $375 a month. And that was, put in, looked at the available positions, picked linebacker is someone that that position I've always wanted to play. I always sort of respected their ability, back in coverage or putting pressure on the QB, that kind of thing. So that's the position I picked. Picked a number, picked my name, which in previous things I've used Raven a lot, but I've never used Axel, and I was trying to find a name that sounded beefy and strong or something. So I just picked something that sounded pretty cool, I guess. So put it in the position claim spot, and before you know it, Andrew, the DC, added me to a team, and there I was on Tacoma.
All right.
In a matter of 24 to 36 hours. So yeah.
No, that's really good. And as I was telling these other people and anybody that's listening to my show, is that when I started, we didn't have those games. We didn't have 8 games to kind of showcase our talents and what our player was about. It was about you going in chat and you building up your chat ranking, and then you had your one game to kind of showcase your talent. And so you guys are doing very, very good over there. And tell us about the Tacoma Grizzlies locker room.
Sure. There's a lot of support. There's half the team is in there every day, multiple days, having great conversations, multiple times a day. It's really a great place. There's a lot of positivity, especially after this last game. Keeping an eye out for each other, helping each other progress and answering questions for each other and hyping each other up, even for the last month and a half. So it's been we've been chomping at the bit for the opening game for the minor league. So it's been great. It's sort of like this nervous energy has sort of been released with the finish of that game, regardless of the outcome, and things. So it has been really supportive. Our coaches have been really good. I've been able to meet up with Scott Johnson about seeing what he does, sort of peering under the hood for scouting, for what he's working on for our team. Hattori Hanzo Shan is another wealth of knowledge. So between us, we've been talking about the scouting process and what has worked in the past, how different teams and how different coaches prefer to get their information, all that kind of thing. Ezekiel's a great hyper. He's great to answer questions, and then Jalen's been great as well. So yeah. Awesome. Sounds like you're going to be well taken care of. Exactly. Yep. Definitely. We're a good team. like we have regardless of record, regardless of player builds, we are a good solid team. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So going back a little bit, when you said that you always wanted to play linebacker, have you ever played sports or?
I could not play football. So when I was 4, I ended up having some issues with my kidney, which then resulted in one of them being removed. The other one ended up taking over its job. I have a 2 times the size kidney on my right side, which then is partially not covered by my rib cage, and so I was not able to play contact sports growing up. So things like football, which for me is the best sport. Not a big fan of baseball, and basketball is a far second to football for me. So no, I've never been able to play other, catch in the backyard or a pickup game of 2-hand touch or things like that, but no legit playing time on a field or anything.
Yeah, I can understand, because if somebody hits you wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't have like that extra padding down there on that side. So, or they might, maybe now they would, but this was back in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s. So,
Gotcha. All right. So fast forward a little bit. So when you saw yourself out there on the field on Friday,
yeah.
what was that? What was that feeling like? And if you have your stats, just let us know what you actually did for that game.
Sure. You know, it was exciting. You know, you just mentioned it. I'm like, it's kind of like you have this long distance girlfriend you've never talked to, you've never even face chatted with, but you're like in love with this person, right? And then all of a sudden seeing them for the first time, you know, you get sort of infatuated with, and it's weird because it's also like yourself and your player, but that's the only thing I could really equate it with, was like, oh my gosh, number 47, oh, it has my name on the back, and like, oh, he's one handsome buck. It was fun. You know, it was great to see him out there. There were a number of a handful of plays that I felt I could have impacted or helped with, but I was just a little too slow. You know, we're all just starting out. You know, so we learned a lot from the game. I ended up having more tackles than I thought I saw, but I think, you know, the system, I wasn't counting, but when it came back when the stats came back, and it showed that I have 5 tackles and 1 sack, which I'm really excited about the sack. We'll get to that.
That's right.
But you know, my other fellow middle linebacker, Everett, he ended up having 8 tackles, but he's in the middle, you know, stuffing the run a little bit more. I'm a little bit more on the periphery, and things. And getting that 1 sack, I ended up going to the video and capturing that little 8 seconds of me as my little personal highlight for my first sack. So I modeled my player after like the AJ Hawks and that kind of thing. The kind of players, Nick. Why can't I think of his name? Nick. Anyways, the kind that go and try to stuff the quarterback a little bit. So I really wanted to help get the pressure on the quarterback, get in there, disrupt things, you know, bat some balls down, and hopefully get sacks, or maybe be able to intercept a pass on the flat or something like that. That was sort of my goal. And so in the first game, to be able to walk away with a sack, you know, was very personally and selfishly very satisfying for me, even though we didn't get the L. It felt like this little personal win for me. So, and
that's wonderful, because, you know, to be able to actually see yourself doing something that you've always wanted to do and not get hurt, for one thing. That's the reason why I like doing this, because I'm not getting ready to go out here and play football for real.
No, I don't want my shoulders or anything.
So, and that's good that you were able to actually make an impact on your first game with that 1 sack, and I'm sure it's gonna be more in the future. With progressions, you guys are gonna get better. You're gonna get, you know, faster and stronger, things like that. But that's some good questions that kind of segues to what I was gonna ask. Who's gonna be responsible for your progressions? Is it just going to be solely you? Or are you going to work in conjunction with your with the coaches in order to do that?
Sure. You know, I've been wanting to work with the coaches, at least, you know, because they're the ones calling sort of the plays and have like this overarching strategy for what we want to accomplish, the group of plays that we're going into the game with. So working with Jalen on the defensive side, knowing, you know, are we going 4-3? Are we going 3-4? How are you planning on utilizing me is, you know, great information that is very helpful to help me progress. I also want to make sure that I'm also staying true to myself. So trying to find a balance between what our team needs and what we're seeing, you know, how I want to play and how I feel like I can contribute, and what the type of plays we're using. So it's not like a one size fits all. It's, you know, a lot of variables to sort of consider. That's the word. And also I've reached out to, I've been having some conversations with a variety of different players and trying to, you know, not really in intending to market myself, but I see that as a positive byproduct, but just building friendships with Jess over at Las Vegas. He's been great in the locker, or
yes.
SFLm general chat, helping to support us. So I've been working with him on a variety of things, and through him, got introduced to Matthew Slynn. So who is he won't be shy to tell you that he's a 5-time Pro Bowl linebacker for out there. So he gave me I had asked him what would you recommend for this is my type of player, the type of role I want to have on the team, getting some both being able to coverage, being able to stop some their run, but I'm also an outside linebacker, being able to then get some pressure on the quarterback and my goals. And he gave me this is what I would recommend. So I've got that as well to go back to. So I feel like I've got a lot of information, and then it's just up to me to decide what's the best thing for me to do. So I think right now, like I mentioned, I was close to a variety of different plays, but I wasn't there to make a difference. So I'm trying to be a little bit faster personally. So that's one thing that myself and I think the team in general is trying to. I think every team wants to be a little bit faster, unless you're a second year SFLm player, which you might have already maxed out on your speed. I don't know. But.
Yeah, well, and there are other ways for you to do that as well. And I'm sure your coaches will definitely go over that with you. But yeah, speed is very important to be able to make the quarterback uncomfortable. Yeah. But if you're poised like I am, you won't have to.
It doesn't bother you. You just go blind and you're like, bink, 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 there's my targets.
Cool. Yeah, unfortunately, I like to throw to everybody, including other teams. But
that's APF for you.
Exactly.
Right.
So a few more questions for you.
Sure.
Do you have any aspirations to do anything in the league besides being a player? So that would include beat writing, or I know that you wanted to do scouting, that you're studying scouting, which is going to be helping somebody's team in a major way. That would definitely help you get drafted very quickly. Mm-hmm. But broadcast team, stats team, anything like that?
So I'll start off with a couple aspirations, then I'll go back to foundation. So aspirationally, I want to learn more about football. I've never had to look at a playbook. I don't know all the formations. I know, shotgun, I formation, but there's things that are in the playbook that I'm not familiar with, or defensive plays. I know 3-4 and 4-3 and dime and nickel, but not number 3 joke or something or other, and all these different things, right? There's a lot of detailed information that can go into scouting, which I just don't have that knowledge base at the moment. But I do have the game. I do have great support, and I'm wanting to learn more about better understanding and tracking, and really that's just getting more exposure to the game, watching games, and that's what I'm excited to do now that our season has started. So the scouting is one sort of aspiration. The other aspiration, I kind of like numbers. I don't like the voice of my own, or I don't like the sound of my own voice. I also stumble on my words sometimes. So being a broadcaster isn't super high on my list, but I love some of the stats. I don't like statistics, like the math statistics, but I like the idea of being there to support the broadcasters with pulling up information, setting the data, the information to that team while they're broadcasting, to give them, I kind of geek out on some of that stuff. So I could see doing something like that in the future, that stats behind the scenes of the broadcasters. They could be the face, I'll be the brain behind some of that. So so then getting to the foundation, I've been working in the visual design and graphics area or industry for about 2 decades, so I've got a lot of history there. So I have already been trying to put together Leon, a fellow SFLm, Leon Thunderman, and I have been working on a publication already that we've been out, have published 2 editions, and we're working on a 3rd for a week from now. And then I've been working with Jess on some visuals for his stuff. Worked on some stuff for Dave Axis, his show, when he had some company come in, so wasn't able to do some stuff, so helped out there. So having an impact there, being part of working with, again, Matthew Slynn on sort of the writing content, graphic support for some of that, articles that come out. I have some website or web design chops as well, so I've been able to help with some of what we could do with the WordPress, blog posts and things to make them more visually appealing and readable and engaging and things like that. more mobile friendly. So those are sort of the things that I do in my daytime that I can transfer to this a little bit as well. But
that is amazing, and I had no idea. Well, I actually saw one of your graphics that you posted in general chat, and I was like, oh man, I have to get in contact with him. I have to see if he can help me out with a few graphics, things like that. Because, and I believe I featured that graphic earlier in the show. And I'll do it again right here just in case people missed it. But you're doing some fantastic work already, and you've just been here for what? Since
7 weeks, something like that.
7 weeks, right? You're already making an impact and a difference, so that's good. You're definitely going to find a home very quickly.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other position besides linebacker though that you would want to play if you were not selected at linebacker position?
If I wanted to maintain, I think I'd love to be able to. My build is, I think, strong enough to be able to shift to a defensive end, which would not be a bad thing for me. I think, again, they are more traditionally who you think of as getting penetration and getting those sacks and other things. I wouldn't be against that. I think my player, again, if I had to go back and restart as a player, my build, as in like my height and weight, is too big for like a strong safety or some other the defensive backs. But I'd play middle linebacker if I needed to or whatever. I mean, that's not much of a change, but I prefer, if I were to go back and restart, I'd prefer, defense more so than offense, personally. But yeah, probably anybody on the defensive side, really. I think I tend to go towards more for the front line or the middle kind of thing versus the defensive backs in the backfield. But everything's on the table. I'm not against any of that, I guess. So
fantastic. It's good to be open, and because teams may have that position already filled, but if they know that you're going to be willing to do something else, that actually helps too. But most teams try to get you to play the position that you want to play because you're going to be happier that way.
Yeah.
And you're going to be more likely to stay with that team that way, so.
Definitely.
And one more question for you.
Sure.
So how do you handle the trash talk and adversity that comes with team sports at times, especially like this, what happened on Friday? How do you handle not winning, and how do you handle that kind of thing? What type and one more thing. What type of personality do you bring to the locker room, I should say?
I'll start with that because I feel like that helps to gives more depth into the other things. So the type of personality that I bring, I'm a natural supporter of people. I love people. I love seeing people succeed. I see their success as my success. And so I'm super, I want to get and encourage people, but I also know that being a Cancer, I think Cancers tend to be, and maybe you reflect this as well, like they tend to be a little bit more of a mediator, helping to translate between two feuding people sometimes, or trying to mediate even if someone's upset at you. How do I figure out a way to balance this so that we understand each other's side? So very empathetic and understanding, compassionate kind of person. So using that, the competitive talk and trash talk and things doesn't really come naturally to me. It's something that I'm working on because it is the area that this hobby is in, right? But I had mentioned this too in a previous interview, that it's like every little trash talk that I say, I want to like put an asterisk and say, but I also hope that you really do well as well come this next game. So, you know what I mean? So and I hope everybody receives anything that I say is literally just playful and putting on that like role playing of being a tough type of person, that it isn't who I am personally. And I want to see everybody succeed. So, please, if anybody does get offended, please reach out. I'm willing to, but also please, that is coming from me playing the role of a linebacker in a sports league. So, but it is not fully representative of my heart, but it is fun, getting people riled up. And I think that adds to some of the energy coming into the game. So, I see that it plays it. There is a role that it plays in the league. So
fantastic, man. Fantastic. Well, it's Axel/Justin.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. It was definitely a pleasure to meet you and to, have you on the show, things like that. And of course, you're very welcome to come back anytime that you want to.
Thank you.
Like during the course, I've actually done this to where some people will actually come in when they first start, and then when they're on the team, and then once they get drafted, and once they're actually on a real team. So if you want to be one of those people, just let me know. But
I will.
yeah, it was great. But cannot let you go without giving you with the last word. So that can be a shout out, that can be a song, or that can be a poem.
Right now.
Yeah, you can sing a song. I wish you would, because nobody ever does. Well, I can't say nobody ever does, because I've had Bailey O'Shaughnessy on. He sung a beautiful song for me, and I've had a couple quotes. So let's see what Mr. Justin Lee is gonna do.
Oh, putting me on the spot is okay. Let's see. I don't think I have a song, and I don't think I have a poem. I just think I'll just give a quick shout out to my partner in crime, Everett, middle linebacker on the Grizzlies. He and I are making a really tough pair to get beyond. So I don't know.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Great. And so then the next time you come on, that means you're going to sing a song or have a poem for me. That's all I need.
Exactly. Yes, I will be prepared for this. That I'm on key and. Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Justin, for being on.
You bet.
And
thank
I'm
you so much.
Looking forward to seeing you out there on the field this Friday. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, love.
Bye.
All right. Welcome back to my Fourth and Goal interview. Tonight's second guest is Mr. Aaron Alexander from the Lexington Miners. They're fullback. How are you doing, Aaron?
Doing all right. How are you today, Ashley?
I am doing wonderful. It's a beautiful day outside, so I decided to just go ahead and come out here and enjoy it.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's right. That's right. So welcome to the league, Aaron.
Thank you. It's been very exciting in a very short amount of time. So
good. And you've been getting involved in the short amount of time too. We'll get into that in a second. Let's get to know Aaron the person. So I got a few questions just in regards to that.
Okay.
If Aaron is not your real name, what's your name, your age, your hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team?
Okay, so Aaron is my real name. It's actually Aaron Husted. Alexander's just kind of an easier alias as a last name to pronounce, because Husted, when you see it, is a bit different. I'm 26. I currently live in Norfolk, Virginia, but military family, so I've been around just about everywhere. My favorite NFL team is the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'm a giant nerd, in case that wasn't obvious with everything that's around me.
Oh no, it wasn't obvious. Why would you say that you're a nerd? What is all back there?
Well, so it's maybe not as obvious, but if I turn my camera slightly this way, I've got I'm a big TCG collector, so I've got a bunch of sleeves. Behind my water bottle, I have a bunch of deck boxes. So in that shelf there's a bunch of boxes full of cards. So
nothing wrong with the A. And sometimes you can run across some stuff that'll get you some real money one day if you ever want to.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so tell us, Aaron, how did you find this? And by the way, your middle name, Husted. Every time I hear you say that, it reminds me of Courage the Cowardly Dog. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Eustace?
Yes.
it's close in pronunciation, yeah.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to throw that out.
So funny enough, I actually kind of just stumbled across the SFL. A couple of people in some of the other Discords I was in was talking about simulation sports and football specifically, and I got curious. So just one day I did a Google search, just simulation football league, just that, stumbled across the SFL, and it looked interesting, so I decided to join and created a player, and the rest is ongoing history.
Exactly. Now, when you created your player, did you find it easy to do? Did you have any difficulties? Can you just take people through your particular experience from you joining the Discord to you actually being selected for the team? You mind going over that for us?
Yeah, so it was all pretty straightforward. Once I got my subscription set up and everything, the deputy commissioner was really quick on giving me access to the position claim, and just looking through the position openings and everything, I decided, fullback, because it's the position I wanted. There were availabilities for it, and then pretty soon after, because the deputy commish was on top of things that day, pretty much as soon as I had put in my player information, I was assigned a team, given the link to the rookie player builder, and just went through and built my player. It was pretty easy to understand process.
Okay, so did you want to be a fullback, or did you want to? Okay.
I wanted to be a fullback.
Have you played sports before?
I have.
So were you a fullback then? Is that why you chose to be a?
No. I was actually an offensive lineman in high school.
Okay.
But I wanted my player to be more true to like my actual height and weight and everything. And last I checked, you don't really see offensive linemen that are 5'8", 250.
No.
And I decided that based on that fullback would be a better fit for what I envisioned my player to be. Accidentally became the shortest back in the league, but what are you gonna do?
Hey, you don't have too far to fall, man. That's how you gotta think about it. But okay, that's awesome. So had you watched any SFL games before you looked up, or after, or like right before you actually joined?
No.
Okay.
The first game that I actually was able to watch was actually the first game that I broadcasted, which was Vancouver and Jacksonville in week 11.
Oh man, so you coming in the leagues making a big splash.
Yep.
How was that experience for you being a broadcaster? And first of all, have you ever done it before?
Not that type of broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
I do have experience with my own Twitch streaming, and I've been a couple of streamed charity events that I did commentary for from time to time. But an atmosphere like that and that type of environment, that was my first time.
Wonderful. So how was it? How did you enjoy it?
Oh boy. It was definitely a exciting introduction into the world of the SFL, and specifically broadcasting in the SFL. I have to thank Tyler Falk a lot for making it really easy to play off him during the game, and just being able to mesh well with the play-by-play guy and make for a really exciting broadcast.
Yeah, that's important, because it's that first time jitters that kind of get to you.
Yeah.
But I can already tell that you're gonna wind up excelling anyway, because when you're a streamer anyway, that kind of helps. Because you get over that kind of fear of messing up, and then you realize that even if you do mess up, there's ways to kind of just like, oh yeah, well I just called the wrong number, but hey,
Yeah.
You just work out and just keep it moving. So, and I believe I did hear you on the call that night. I did not know it was you, but I knew Tyler had a new partner, and I was like, okay,
Yeah, that was me.
Nice. And then, that kind of segues into my next question. Did you want to get involved in the league in any other aspect besides being a player? If you wanted to broadcast or do some stats, or if you wanted to do some scouting, if you had ambitions to be a general manager maybe someday?
I do. When I got into it initially, I was more just kind of feeling everything out, just kind of see how everything worked. Eventually, I saw the the broadcast opportunity. It's like, hey, I've done broadcasting before. That maybe somewhere where I could use the skills I've learned from that. Maybe I'll end up doing stats at some point too, just depending on how busy I end up being doing broadcasting. As far as like a staffing direction, at some point I would like to maybe move into an offensive coordinator role with a team, but that's more down the line when I'm more comfortable and more experienced with the SFL in general, and have some time to actually sit down and look at how All Pro handles the different plays and everything.
Which is important, and that's good that you want to kind of enjoy yourself, enjoy your time as a player, your rookie season. Because I will say, once you do get started into doing other things, it can take away from it a little bit, not in a negative way, but then, you're like, oh my gosh, I have this to do and this to do and this to do. So, but yeah, just enjoy yourself, man. Lexington Miners, what a game you guys had against the Birmingham Fuel. I mean, you guys didn't let up.
No, only our defense killed it that game. Only allowing 53 yards of total offense from Birmingham.
Yes.
Bailey was able to run pretty much wherever he wanted. Dave Burr was able to get some passes off to our different receivers. I was able to get some receptions that game. So yeah, it was a really great game, and it was real enjoyable to watch. I actually had to watch it back. I wasn't able to watch the full thing live because I was broadcasting the Salt Lake Madison game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it seems that I'm either blessed or cursed with just calling really, really close games. I've called a total of 3 games in the SFL, including the SFLm. The 2 in the SFL proper, both went into overtime. Both ended with deep ball touchdown passes. And then the SFLm game I called with Jeff Melanishin, which looked like it was going to go to overtime, but it ended up being really close with a deciding field goal from Madison.
Yeah, those are truly the exciting moments when you're calling those kind of games. Especially because you don't want it to be one-sided to where a team is winning up like 40 points in the second quarter or something crazy like that. Because then it becomes a little, unless the other team is going to make a miraculous comeback, it can be a little boring. But
I mean, that happened though. That happened the week 12 game that I called also with Tyler. It was Houston and Mexico City. Mexico City came back from like 21-3 to win that game in overtime.
Exactly. So it adds that character.
Yeah.
To that emotional content, which I love. Now, you did say you had your receptions, and you had 3 receptions for 20 yards, 6.7 yards per reception. Didn't get scored touchdown yet. We're going to say yet. But you did go 17 long. So it looks like you built your player pretty good,
Yeah, I have to definitely credit the coaches out of Lexington, Chad Brolin, Jeff Gagne. I forget the offensive coordinator's name. Oh, no. Hold on. We can get this information. Max Shima from Baltimore's RC. Yeah, definitely have to give a lot of credit to them. They've definitely helped me build my player in a direction to be able to maybe not make as big as an impact as like a running back or a wide receiver, but at least being in a position where if there's no other option available, I can be there and I can be a consistent bailout, for lack of a better term, for my quarterback. And that actually did happen once in that game against Birmingham.
Beautiful. And even with your running back with Bailey, you throw up some good blocks.
Got to.
You can do exactly what you did then, because when I at first when I was looking, I was like, is this a mistake? No points? but no, it was absolutely amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Now I will say, well, I wanted to ask you, what type of personality, when you're drafted, because I'm sure you will be, what type of personality will you bring to someone's locker room that is deciding, you know, hey, I need a fullback? What makes you so special, Aaron?
On the surface, my personality is definitely more laid back and more reserved. But you know, in times where it's needed, I can be a hype man. I can be, you know, hey, big game's coming up on Sunday. Let's go get this dub. And I don't know if you've been looking in general at all, but if necessary, I can talk a little smack if somebody's talking smack against my team. So,
well, that's always good. And you can segue into my next question. How do you handle that? How do you handle the adversity and the trash talk that actually comes with either playing sports or just being involved in a sports league like this?
I mean, some of it you have to realize it's not meant to be I don't want to say it's not meant to be taken seriously, because some of it is, you know, there's a rivalry there between all the different teams. At the end of the day, you know, you have to realize that, you know, a lot of the talk that's coming from the other team is, you know, more out of respect. They respect you as a player, they respect your team and what they're able to do on the field. And just being able to recognize that it's something that you're going to deal with regardless of what level of, you know, of play that you're at, anywhere from high school to, you know, proper pro level to even something like this. You can't take it personally, because it's not an attack on character. It's, you know, the other players are trying to have their own kind of fun. And if fun for them is, you know, talking a little trash, then if necessary, you know, I can respond in kind.
You ready, huh?
Always.
Awesome. So got a couple more questions for you. Now, describe the Lexington Miners locker room, and then tell me what type of locker room would you like to join in the SFL Pros?
So the Lexington locker room during most times of the week is usually more subdued. There'll be some comments here and there about things that are happening in our outside of game life. But once, you know, game day starts approaching, sometime after game day, it lights up. It's absolutely thrilling. Everybody in the locker room is buzzing with the excitement of getting back on the field, regardless of who we're against. And again, I have to credit the coaches for building that type of environment. And in a pro locker room, I'd like to join a locker room similar to that. Maybe not necessarily as subdued during the off time, but one that's very open. Because Lexington, like when I first joined, was very open, very welcoming, and I'd like to see that if and when I do get drafted. But also one where, you know, everybody just clicks on a deeper level right off the bat, which was another, you know, really exciting thing for me when I joined the Miners.
Fantastic. All right, man. All right. And so, how did you deal with COVID? Did that host stint having to be home, had to mask up and everything? How did you deal with that?
For the most part, I just took it in stride. In my normal life, I'm essential personnel for the Navy, so I didn't really get to spend a lot of time working from home, though it was really nice when I was able to do so. But just, you know, making sure to protect myself and protect the people around me. And, you know, if I'm not feeling well on a certain day when I have to go into the office, making sure to not go into work so I don't risk other people getting sick, even if it's not COVID or anything COVID related.
Did I miss that? Did you say you were in the Navy?
I'm not in the Navy.
Oh.
I work for the Navy. I'm a civilian contractor.
Okay, got it. Fantastic. Because I was like, I don't remember hearing that one. But okay. And so what, let me see. How do I want to ask this question? What is it about this community that draws you to it? And this is actually going to be one of my last questions.
So, I mean, just getting back to how the Lexington locker room was, even all of the owners, all of the more established players have all just been incredibly welcoming. It's been really enjoyable watching the interaction between the different players, watching the owners and the GMs being active in general, and then the overall tightness of the community, if that makes sense. Like, I've just joined and I already feel pretty close with especially my Lexington teammates and even the players, the other players in the SFLm. There's just a closeness there that you don't get, right off the bat with joining a new community.
Very, very true. Very true. This is one of the only communities that I've actually joined like this. And I've been here for, this is my 4th season, going on 5th season, and it's been nonstop. And it's because of the community. That's one of the reasons why I do so much for it, to promote it, to be a part of it, because it does a lot of good things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people that are dealing with health issues that can never play football, but actually get a chance to see themselves out there in the field. You have people that have aspirations of being writers and and join the broadcasting team and statisticians and things like that in another community or even in the real world would never be able to get a chance to do such a thing. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing, overall. And but my last question to you is more player related, and I was wondering, if you are not selected as a fullback, would you still be willing to play, or is there another position that you would take if that opportunity, just say no one's looking for a fullback, which is, I don't think that's going to be the case, but is there something else that you'd be willing to play, like a secondary position?
The idea of transitioning to running back or tight end does have an appeal to it. If anything, though, if for whatever reason I don't get drafted as a fullback after this season, I go through a second season and still don't get drafted, I'd probably end up being a kicker or punter, more than likely. It may just be my personality as a whole, but the idea of playing more of a supporting role to either a team as a whole or a more flashy position like running back is something that has always appealed to me.
Okay. Fantastic. So, Aaron, that ends our interview, and I want to thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule. I know you've been working a lot, man, and for you to take the time out to just talk to me and let us get to know you was an honor. And I invite you to come back on whenever you want to. Just hit me up and say, Ashley, I need to come out and tell you something, or we just need to have another conversation. I do mental health shows sometimes too. So if you want to be a member or part of that, you can definitely help out with that too. So
I'll keep that in mind. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. But I cannot let you go without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or that can be a simple shout out. Hopefully I'm gonna get the song or the poem. I'm gonna get one of y'all to do something. Bailey O'Shaughnessy sung a whole song for me, so I'm hoping one of y'all do something. But right now, it's yours.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have a song or a poem or anything prepared. I I do again just want to shout out the entire coaching staff for the Lexington Miners. I want to wish all the teams going through into playoffs good luck in the quarterfinals, including your Scorpions. Definitely looking forward to all of those games, and yeah, just wish everyone good health and good fortunes moving forward.
Fantastic, Aaron. Thank you. I'll see you
No
soon.
problem.
I'll see you Friday, actually.
Yeah, you will.
Score a touchdown for me, okay?
I'll try. No promises.
All right, I'll take that. All right, man. All right, SFL Nation, and welcome back to my third and final interview. Tonight's guest is Mr. Polly Truth, tight end for the Albuquerque Adams. How are you doing, Mr. Truth?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Appreciate you having me here.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Love it. Love it. And I just want to say, I do love that setup you got in the background, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Got a little studio action going on.
Okay, Mr. Making music. What kind of music do you like making?
I make hip hop, R&B, pop music, EDM. Literally try to switch it up, do any type of vibe.
Dude, I love it. I love it. And so, hey, listen, and this goes for you and anybody else that has tracks that they want to just try to get out there. Let me know. I'll be happy to feature your track in the show and give you the credit for it. So hopefully you'll blow up,
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Cool beans, man. So let's talk a little bit about you. So if Polly Truth is not your name and you feel comfortable giving us your real name, your age, your hometown, some interesting facts about yourself. I guess I kind of spoiled one of them. And your favorite NFL team.
All right, so my name's Paul Sarp. Polly Truth, just like my little alter ego. But I'm 25. I'm from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. It's like southwest PA, and you already know Southwest PA. Who my favorite team is, Pittsburgh. Shout out the Steelers.
I'll allow that.
You allow that?
That steel curtain is real.
Steel curtain's so real.
So you got some interesting facts besides the one I gave
interesting facts.
Yeah.
Obviously I make music too. I sell cars. So anyone in the Western PA area, I got you guys. Or anywhere. But another interesting fact, I just moved into my house, so that's exciting. I don't know. I'm pretty boring.
No, I mean, hey, listen, first of all, congratulations on the move.
Thank
Fantastic.
you.
And hey, if you need a car or a hot track, come to you. That's pretty good, man.
That's not too bad.
Not at all.
No, zero complaints.
So tell me, have you played sports before?
Yeah, I played football up until I quit at middle school. Politics, the Western PA politics. So I moved on from that, but I played basketball my whole life. After I finished, I just played like rec basketball. But then after I finished that up, I was coaching for a couple years. And then I've been bowling my whole life. So that's coming up, championship coming up next week for the Thursday night bowling league. Busy.
Bro, I was muted. I don't know. I'm trying to talk to you and I'm muted. But that's pretty dope, man. So you're a bowler and you have a championship. So I tell you what, if you win, make sure you put it in chat.
Oh, for sure.
And show us your trophy and everything.
For sure.
I'm sure I feature it on the next show. Okay?
For sure.
All right, man. So good luck with that too.
I appreciate it.
Hey, the last time I bowled, which was not too long ago, I bowled like 18. But bro,
yeah,
I don't know. What was it?
So last week I bowled. How about this? I've been bowling my whole life. I go up, never bowled a 300. I go up, I throw the first 10 strikes in a row. So I'm feeling myself. I'm shaking. I'm freaking out. I go up and throw the next one. Dumped it. Just nothing. I didn't even have a shot. So yeah. I don't know. It's tough.
But bro, at least you had 10 strikes.
Yeah.
My name is Striker and I didn't get one. No.
hey, my team got the win, and that's all that mattered.
Speaking of your team getting the win,
Mhm.
Albuquerque Adams got the
Albuquerque
win.
Adams.
Yes, that was
Want to know?
But first off, how did you even find out about the league in the first place?
So, growing up, I played this other like football league, right? But we would actually like play. It was like online, and it wasn't football. It was like an online chat room. But we made like a football league. We ran so many seasons, at least 70, 80 seasons. And this one guy, he sent me the link to the league. So I play 2K, I play Madden. I don't even like playing the games. I like building the teams. So he sent me this, right? And I'm going through Discord. I'm looking at it. Within 5 minutes, I was like, I need a player. How do I make a player? So I got the subscription, got assigned to the defending champions, got blessed with that. So like, yeah, that's how I found out about it, and I'm all fired up about it. I watched my first stream. I'm hooked. Like, I'm hooked.
Do you remember the first game that you watched though?
It was the game right before mine, because I've been in the server for a couple months or a couple weeks, but been busy and like I wasn't really into it. But then I watched the first SFLm game right before, I think it was Lexington Miners. Had to do some scouting for week 2, and yeah, I watched that and then watched my game, and I wasn't expecting to score. I wasn't expecting to even do a whole lot, but come out, had a good game, had a good first game, and now I'm hooked to SFL.
Clearly.
All fired up about it.
I mean, clearly you made an impact with your 5 receptions. Well, targeted 5 times, 5 receptions, 51 yards, 10 yards per reception, and you got a touchdown. And you went 23 long. So yeah, you're doing your thing. Yep.
Had to show out week 1. Had to let everyone know what I'm about.
All right. It sounds good. And who was responsible for your player build? Now, I know that first off, I would like for you to go over how easy was it, or even how difficult it may have been for you to create a player and like go through that process of even like choosing your player and things like that.
So I looked to see what players were available and like what positions. And I when I was younger, I played tight end. So I don't need to be the number one guy. I don't need to be a receiver, running back, quarterback, whatever. Tight end, someone that's gonna do all the work, no matter what the play call is. So I was instantly hooked to tight end. And then creating my player, so first off, I messaged my coach. There's 2 Jay Williams. I know one's Joshua Williams. I don't know who the other one is, but I was messaging him, Jason Williams. My bad, coach.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was messaging him, and about 4 minutes after I submitted my build, he messaged me and told me to do like the height and weight, and so I made my guy a little undersized, but got that taken care of. So I don't know what it is in the Adams food, but I just grew 4 inches, 25 pounds. The food they have here is just crazy. But yeah, so creating my player, it was fairly easy. I've played other like simulation games, like where you build your players throughout the season. So like I'm familiar with that. For me, it's just figuring out like what stats do what and how they impact what. And yeah, that's how I'm here. Albuquerque Adams, want to know.
All right. Okay. Sounds good, man. And so was your intention to be a tight end because you played it in the past, or would you have been fine if you were anything else, if they would have assigned you any other position?
I would have been, if I was needed somewhere, that's cool. I would have played wherever. But yeah, just for me playing tight end when I was younger, seeing that there weren't a whole lot of tight ends at the time when I made my player, yeah, I was sold instantly at tight end.
Okay, gotcha. So that kind of segues into my next question. So if a team is not in need of a tight end, but would be willing to draft you at another position, you wouldn't have a problem with going, right?
Not at all.
Okay. Sounds good. So do you plan, I see you got that nice little setup there. So do you plan on maybe becoming a broadcaster one day, or maybe
so
anything like that?
So it's crazy because I think it was Deputy Commissioner. He posted something about broadcasting, and like I messaged someone about it. But yeah, I would like to get into broadcasting. I think it'd be cool. And on top of it, I see you've been doing like the video podcasts. About 2 weeks ago, I just got a camera. So I'm gonna try to maybe get something set up, even like doing like on this webcam. Like I just got the webcam not too long ago. Yeah, about to start throwing something together. Do some like graphic design work too. So make some cool content. Start getting into video editing. Do things like that. Manage the Albuquerque Adams social media. Go follow us, like and subscribe.
I like that plug. But yeah, you should get involved in it because honestly, when I first started, I never thought that I would be doing anything like this because when I first started, it was just audio. So I had 2 phones that I was literally talking on one, doing interviews on one, and reporting on the other. And now I've graduated to the video and doing my own editing and things like that. So you can definitely do it. You know. Yeah,
like I definitely want to get more involved. Like I said, I can't believe because like the last game I played, like it was a football game. I've played it for at least 10 years growing up with these people. The community there is toxic. Like it's very toxic. And like the community here is just unbelievable. I'm mind blown by the whole thing.
So what is your favorite part about the community particularly?
Because it's all, I played with all real people before, but like it's all real people, but like I can tell that it's all genuine people. Sure, there might be a couple people here and there, but I haven't seen anyone. But yeah, it's just genuine people, and like I can sense it I sensed it 2 days in.
Nice, man. So tell me, how did you deal with the COVID situation? Just kind of segue a little bit into something else. How did you deal with COVID and all of the lockdown that we had to ensue?
So for me personally, I was laid off for 3 months. Me personally, I work a lot. So like, I personally enjoyed being quarantined. And I was blessed enough to not really get sick. I personally think I had it like early January, February-ish, but like it was before like all the tests came out. So I was lucky enough to like have a whole 2020 really not sick. I was healthy. I went back to work in June, and in the car business, it's crazy because people were all inside, like pent up, and yeah, it's been good ever since. I was able to get a house, get a new car, so life's good. About to try to get drafted in the SFL. No complaints.
That is going to be an amazing experience for all of you all to go through. Just to hear your name called, because you see it, you know, when you're watching the draft in real life, you know. And I know some people are just wondering like, oh, I wish that could be me, and I wish that I had that experience, and now you can. And I'm telling you,
it's crazy.
You can have all these connections. Like when I first started, I talked to everybody. So
yeah, that's what I'm trying to like branch out and like get to know more people.
Exactly. That is the key. Just talk to everybody, and you will earn a lot of respect that way as well. Like I know that I pretty much, I can name at least one person from every team because I've talked to so many people over the many years I've been here, you know.
Yeah.
And it's about just getting out there and kind of putting yourself out there. And this, if you're going to do it with any community, this is the one.
No, and that's it. Again, I'm just mind blown by the whole thing. That there's been 16 seasons and I'm just finding out about it.
Hey, you made it. Better late than never.
I made it. That's all that matters.
That's
You're right. Yep. Absolutely.
So what kind of personality will you be bringing to someone's locker room once you get drafted?
So for my personality, I feel like I am the ultimate hype man. I can bring so much hype to the team, and you're getting someone that is putting in the work. I'm going to be helping out, try and grow whatever team I get drafted to. I would love to stick with them however many seasons they want me there for, hopefully until I stop playing. But yeah, You're getting a hype man. You're getting someone that's gonna work hard, get those progressions. I love simulation things, man. It's crazy.
Sounds good. Tell us about the Adams locker room, and then tell me about what type of locker room that you want to join. What are you expecting from the team that will select you?
So I'm hoping. So for the Adams locker room, awesome. All the dudes in there and females that are in there, awesome. No complaints about anyone. It's a good group of people. They've helped me out. Again, I've only been here a couple weeks, but they've helped me out, like figure out a little bit more, and I'm learning more about SFL like as the time goes. But yeah, Adams locker room is awesome. As far as what I would expect from like another locker room, just people that mesh together well. Like, I don't know, just positive but fun environment. Gotta have fun with it. If I'm losing every game of the season, I'm having fun with it. So I'm gonna try to win every game, but it doesn't always work that way. I've had a couple losing seasons in my life. It is what it is.
Gotcha. Now, did you mention something about doing some scouting?
I can do scouting, yeah, for sure.
Because I know that with the graphics and everything, and that'll definitely be a help to the team that you're going to be on, and even with the Adams. But if you ever decide that you do want to get involved with anything else, just reach out. You know, like even with Mike Dax for the broadcast team, or Mark Lopez for the stats team, or I forget who's actually over the beat writing right now. Because it kind of changed. I think it might be Jeff Gagne or it might be Tom Walsh. I'm not quite sure. But anything you want to do, man, anything that you're inspired to even try.
Listen, and that's what's crazy, because like I've seen all these different like advertising like for different things, like to help out with the league. I want to do it all. Like everything that's came across, I want to at least try to do something, a little bit of everything. Because like scouting, I'm already scouting for the Adams. I'm trying to see, because I'm thinking about staying a second season to progress a little more. And I'm trying to get, all my friends that I've always played games with, we always play sim leagues. I'm trying to get them to join. I haven't been able to convince them yet. Even for any team, scout anyone. I'm ready for it.
Tell your friends to watch this podcast, watch Dave Axis, watch Netma, and actually check out these games, and then they will understand why we're so engulfed and why we're so excited about this, man.
So after my first game, I was hanging out with my one friend the one night, another friend the other night, and two other friends the other day. So me being me, we're hanging out. I'm like, hey, check this out. I show him the Adams game. So I just say, check this video out. I watched the one pass I had is like a diving catch. I showed him that, and then 2 plays later is the play I scored my touchdown. And the broadcaster is saying Pauly Truth, and I'm just looking at them, and they're just laughing, and I'm just like, you gotta join, like just get in.
That's it.
It's something fun to do.
Definitely. And then it gets you through those times, like, you know, when we were all under the COVID thing, like
absolutely
great way to get your mind off that, because otherwise you'll go crazy. You know? Absolutely. But you know, it was definitely a pleasure to meet you, Pauly.
I appreciate it. Pleasure to meet you as well. Yeah. Again, thank you for having me here. Again, just joined here, and you're welcoming me on, so I appreciate that. Yeah, excited to be here. Appreciate you.
Anytime. And if you want to come back, you're more than welcome to come back. Share anything that you want to. Like, after you guys get drafted, if you want to come back and just talk about that experience and anything, I'm definitely here for you. But I cannot let you go, Pauly, without giving you the last word. So
the last word.
Song. That can be a poem, or that can be a simple shout out. But right now, Pauly, the floor is yours. And by the way, I wouldn't mind a song or a poem, but you know, you can go ahead and do what you want.
Hold up. You want a song?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hold up. I'll get one of the newly recorded ones, unreleased poly music.
Uh-oh, yes.
Where's it at?
See, rookies, he's setting the bar high. He's setting it high.
All right, hold up.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
What I might do is
I can. Yeah.
just come in on the second one and take the second one, put it on the
Yeah,
Take a flight out to Kyoto, hanging in the dojo, sipping for a logo, chilling with the squad. We be snapping like photo, roll up like moto, coco, noco. You know we going hard. Take a flight out to Kyoto.
You know what? Turn it up some.
Turn it up some. Sipping for a logo, chilling with the squad. We be snapping like photo, roll up like moto,
Put your speaker on.
coco, noco. You know we going hard. Flying through the sky, yeah, I'm feeling like a star. Trying to get by, yeah, I see that from afar. I know you want me, baby girl, I want you to. Maybe we could kick it like it's soccer, what it do? Flying through the sky, yeah, I'm feeling like a star. Trying to get by, yeah, I see that from afar. I know you want me, baby girl, I want you to. Maybe we could kick it like it's soccer, what it do? I'm living life, luxury. You know I keep the past in the past, no I keep it under me. Living fast, I'm the head of the company. Never last, I am finishing suddenly. I get to singing like a bumblebee. Never clinging to the puppetry, I live my own life. Come and check my summary, you wanna be clowns? Come and take a step inside, haha. I'm shining bright, rainbow. They know I'ma do what I say so. Make no mistakes, say no to the hate volcano burning inside of me. Boy, I'm feeling so great. They be living life, they be hanging by the strings. Let it begin, no, I'm going in from winter to spring. Ring the alarm, you don't really wanna swing arms, or you get to spinning like seesaw. Take a flight out to Kyoto, hanging in the dojo, sipping for a logo, chilling
Yes.
with the squad. We be snapping like
Polly,
Coco, roll up
yes,
like Moto,
that is
Coco,
amazing.
Noco. You know we going hard, take a flight out
Yes,
to Kyoto,
you are
hanging
very,
in the
very
dojo,
welcome,
sipping
man.
for a logo.
And listen, I wish you the best on everything you do. And listen, if you do have some ideas for some songs that you do want me to feature on the show, or even maybe, you know, I can let you make my opening theme.
No, for sure.
We'll work together on that.
Oh, for sure. I could think of something. I for sure think of something.
All right, brother.
Pull something together.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for sharing
Absolutely.
that. And like I said,
Absolutely.
you didn't
Thank
set the
you.
bar high. You already had a whole track ready. So
I got what vibe do you want? I have any vibe you want. I got at least 40 songs waiting.
dope. Well, we'll get together very soon.
For sure.
Appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you out there on the field.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Albuquerque Adams, 2-0. I don't know. I think it's this Friday.
It is.
But 2-0.
All
Sorry, Lexington. Just has to happen.
Uh-oh. See, I actually have somebody, I had somebody on from Lexington.
Yeah, Aaron Alexander.
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. I should have had y'all on together.
Me and him were going back and forth a little bit the past 2 days.
Nice.
Wish him well, but good thing he's on offense and not on defense.
Perfect, man. I'll talk to you soon, Paulie. This was
For
fun.
sure.
Come back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
You welcome.
All right, everybody, and that is it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Special thanks goes out to Paulie Truth, Aaron Alexander, Axel Raven, and of course, my good friend, Todd Anderson, with me tonight. Really appreciate you. And do you have any final words for our guests?
Not really, but enjoyed myself. Ashley, thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man. You're invited to come back on anytime that you want to. Just let me know and you have a spot.
Oh, thank you very much.
And to everyone else, thank you again for joining us. Of course, if you want to be on, just DM me, let me know. I'll be happy to make a spot for you as well. I'm looking forward to bringing you another great podcast next week. But until then, y'all, stay safe, treat each other well. Todd and Striker.